positive about it.
That's fine. And I know I didn't mention it in the email, but can I ask you some questions about year-round schooling?
Sure.
Awesome. So to start them off, are you familiar with year-round schooling?
In what do you mean about?
The 40-15, like 45 days of school and then 15 days off in that system.
Okay, so what would you like to know about that?
Well, have you ever considered working at a year-round school?
I would work at a year-round school if it was any place but Phoenix, because I think Phoenix is too hot during the summer, and I think that I wouldn't want to be in that situation. I have family members who have worked in 45-15, and they loved it. I think it's a great idea, but I think that the summertime here in Phoenix would be difficult to do 45-15. I know that there's some of the schools have a block of time during the summer, like 6 weeks, that there is no school, and then they start up again at 45-15. I think that it's possible. I would like to see what it would look like first.
Okay.
But 45-15 allows people to retain more of their what they've learned in the classroom.
Teachers working in a year-round school setting tend to enjoy it more, feeling less interchangeable and replaceable. Why do you think that they feel that way?
I think it's because they get rejuvenated in that 15 days. So they work those 9 weeks. You know, that's about the time you get really run down and tired, and then you got 3 weeks off. And so you have an opportunity to recharge there. You know, I think it's a recharging process, and I think that's a great idea.
Do you feel interchangeable or replaceable here?
You know, that's a good question. I can easily be replaced. Not necessarily by a good teacher, but I think, in my subject area, there are lots of people who want social study teachers. There are social studies majors. But, I think that if a district doesn't want to pay for that experience that I have, they can replace me real easy. I mean, because there are lots of people looking for jobs in government or history. So yeah, I think I'm replaceable. I'm not sure it'd be a great idea.
And then year-round schooling on average have less absences. Why do you think that kids would like coming to school more in a year-round setting?
I think it goes the same way with teachers. They get recharged. They know it's like a new beginning. Oh, I could start all over here. And I think, especially here at Goldwater, you would have the chance to what's the word? You get started brand new, and you can achieve some kind of competency when you're here for a whole semester. And sometimes you get to a point where you think, God, I can't improve. I'm stuck. I'm so far behind. I can never get up. I can never pick up my score. I think that's true in many cases, but I think 9 weeks allows a student to see a shorter period of time and say, okay, 9 weeks, I can manage that. I can hang in there for 9 weeks, and I can do better. And then I get 3 weeks off, and I can start all over. Or if I screwed up, I can start again and get caught up in a shorter period of time. So I think it's a win-win solution. There has to be a change in attitude by teachers and by students. I mean, you have to get away from the idea that it's strictly about percentages. I mean, it's not here about percentages. here at Goldwater, yet everybody still thinks it is. You know, students ask me, well, why did I get a C? I've turned everything in, I have high scores, and I said, but I'm not going by percentage. I'm going by whether or not you've accomplished the task and how well you accomplished it. I think every 9 weeks, 45 days, you can focus on things a little bit more and accomplish those competencies that we want.
Okay. Odds and ends here. Do you feel Arizona's education is lacking?
Absolutely. And I think it's lacking in the sense of one for money for education. And I'm not talking just about money for...
Brian Bridges, please call 53004. Brian Bridges, please call 53004.
The funding isn't just for paying teachers well or paying beginning teachers, well enough to keep them. But that we have schools that have so much money because they're, for a variety of reasons, everybody has their laptops, everybody has computer labs, whereas, I have a computer that's over 10 years old. Is that a school computer? Yes, it is. But teachers have these. There are so many discrepancies and imbalances from school to school that's the problem that has to be fixed. You have school districts that are very wealthy and other school districts that are not, and nobody's attempting to really take care of it. Goldwater here is a Title I school, so we're getting some federal dollars. That helps us. That's not the total answer. So I think that funding for education has to be improved, and it has to be a long-term fix. I don't know if that answers your question. I think that's the, funding allows for teachers to be trained a little bit better after they get started in their field. So funding covers a lot.
Okay. And then here's just one last little tidbit, because we're trying to write a sort of, well, not write, but our idea for Senior Institute is like a proposition that could sort of help schools that would like to move into a year-round schooling system, because that money's usually a problem for that. Could we set up like a proposition that would allow only a certain set of schools that would want that system benefit from that system? Or would it have to be for all schools?
I think that you could write a proposition that would allow a choice, and I think it's harder to have to have a choice between schools as opposed between school districts.
Oh, I mean school districts.
Yeah, I think you could do that so that the funding needs to remain the same and all of that. I think it could be done. I'm not such a wordsmith that I could come up with one, but yeah, I would think that there would be a way to write a proposition that would allow sufficient funding to do that. I think that when you think about it, with 3 weeks off, you turn, you lower the or you raise the temperature so your ACs aren't being used and the heaters and the wear and tear of machines are going to go down. Maybe the proposition has some built-in incentives that if there's less money going out for utilities or buses, that sort of cost. There could be some incentives to all of that. You know, I've always thought that what we do is we add an hour and a half to our school day and take Fridays off or Mondays off, so you have a 3-day weekend. You know, to me, that would really rejuvenate people, but, you know, could we stand to go to class an extra 15 minutes longer each day? I think so, you know. You could set it up on Fridays or Mondays, whatever day would be extra day. That would be an extra part of the weekend. Plus, you could have a program where kids who needed some remediation could come back on that day and get it for a couple hours, and then they would be off. You know, to me, that would also be an idea to consider.
All right, thank you. Do you have any questions for him?